Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a fantastic day for you and your family. We're obviously taking a look at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. And if you're new to the channel, I just love teaching best practice and big picture. Hope you can learn something here today. I have a trading community, academy, and signal group. Link in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. I basically provide you with all the knowledge that I have. We all learn and grow together in the community. And of course, more important as well, I share with you essentially the trades that I take so you understand how to structure your trades effectively, because there's different strategies depending on the market. Right now we're in a bearish type of strategy, so we just kind of got to adapt and adjust ourselves to that. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there. Check that out in your own time. Also, discounts for military and third world countries. Message me if you have any concerns or questions. Contact information is down below in the comments. Only use that. I will never direct message you first, by the way. I'm not a spineless scammer that trolls the comment section, okay? Just know that. All right, so here's where we're at for Bitcoin. We've got a green day followed by a red day. It's kind of this back and forth battle between good and evil, right upwards of about 20,400. It seems to be the resistance, and 19,005 is the support. 19,500 has been tested 3 times, and what do you know? 20,400 has been tested 3 times as well. So it feels like it wants to break either direction. Good news is we're essentially retesting this descending type of trend here, this more immediate trend, and that is essentially telling us that we keep getting rejected, but in time, just say another 24 to 48 hours, we close above that, we should actually be able to see a little bit of a push recovery back to 21, maybe even 22,000, and go from there. But that is essentially where we're at presently. We're still in a descending trend. You have to understand that. RSI is still low, fantastically unfortunate, if you will, which is, in other words, basically the translation for that is it's not really fantastic at all. What it is it's essentially staying below 50, and under 50, you can kind of consider it to be bearish, right? So we've been bearish, obviously, for quite some time here, ever since we saw that dump a couple Fridays ago. All right, so again, August 19th was not a great day. That was a pretty healthy correction, or sorry, unhealthy correction, very large, and that, of course, caused things to do what they did. That being said, all the indicators here that we're looking at are not really all that important based on the fact that they're not telling us much. They're really just saying and confirming that we are truly bearish in the overall sense of things. The other thing as well is that we got the 50-day SMA working its way down. Correction, that's a 20-day, sorry. The 20-day simple moving average working its way down the daily. That does typically work with descending or ascending trends. All right, so you can kind of see it working fairly concurrent with that, or synonymous with these other 2 trends that we have. So really just kind of confirming that, again, we're still moving to the downside until we're back up over at least the 20 on the daily. We don't really have much of a leg to stand on as far as the price action just shooting up strong, right? I think it can still recover, but I don't think we're going to see a green day that looks anything like this or this. It'll probably be a slow grind sideways and potentially upwards eventually. But you got to note too, September being, tomorrow, of course, the whole month of September is notoriously a red month in cryptocurrency and even traditional markets. So again, just something to kind of think about. I would venture to guess, even if we don't have a red month next month, we should, in fact, could very well likely not see a lot of recovery. Be a lot of this nonsensical stuff we're seeing right now where it jumps up and down. Let's take a quick look at the monthly, by the way, because this candlestick is almost closed, and we can see, of course, a red candlestick here. Of course, it's almost a bearish engulfing. If it comes down any lower, it would be. So that does kind of imply that next month could be red, right? So it's really not great there. And if we take a look at the moving averages, we're kind of just averaging above and below for the last couple months the 50-day SMA. Obviously, a closure today under 21,000 would imply that we're going to be underneath that, and that could be a potential resistance. But since we keep trending right above and below it, I'm not super concerned with it being like an obvious indicator we're going to continue to go lower. But if history repeats itself, we could see further downside next month. RSI is also kind of averaging itself out right around the 42 range here, and historically this is the lowest RSI has been for Bitcoin, so this is the largest correction we've seen in the overall sense of things, at least for this duration. Okay, so again, it's literally taking a long time to come down. We're talking almost we're approaching a full year of bearish trend, right? Almost a full year, and that's never a great sign, but it is what it is, okay? So again, that's kind of where we're at there on the monthly, and then the weekly kind of tells us a similar story. We're underneath the 200-day simple moving average. That's the most important indicator here on the weekly, and that is trending right around 23,000. Until we break back above that, we're not going to be considered to be bullish, okay? So again, I would say 23,000 would be a best case scenario for a potential bull run or bullish tendency, bullish qualities, bullish outlook. at that point. We're still a ways away from that, because honestly, it doesn't seem like far. 21 to 23,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a pretty decent percentage, right? So I mean, we're looking at like 17%. So again, that's kind of what where we're at there in the overall sense of things. The monthly, weekly, and daily don't look very good. Okay. Now looking at the 4 hour, this is kind of more so the midterm. This one is kind of the telling time frame for me. It's probably my favorite time frame based on my trading techniques and my style. And I can tell you right now that it's not terrible, but not great, at least in the regard to the moving averages, right? So we're underneath the 50, of course, but we're up over the 20. 20 does commonly work as somewhat of a trend setter, so we could very well see the price action continue to maintain itself. We are making higher lows, even though they're ugly. We are making higher lows even still. So just keep that in mind too. We are slowly ascending, and in that sense, that same thought process, we could inevitably break above 20,400 if it continues to work itself into this little wedge, right? So if we continue to see this, there should be a likely breakout to the upside. For right now, I think it's a little premature, a little early to anticipate, but we do have somewhat of an ascending type of trend right now, and that's positive there. Once again, we're still in this descending trend as well, so until it decides to pick a side, we kind of got this pendant type of pattern here. Commonly, the prices will break to the downside since it started here as well. Again, that's just kind of commonality. Not saying it's going to happen, but we got to be kind of on our best behavior right now, and on our tippy toes, so to speak, and kind of be very careful with your trades, because there's definitely no guarantees or confirmation on long or short positions right now. It's kind of, in my opinion, I think I've said that yesterday about Ethereum, same story. It's kind of a razor's edge, so you want to be very cautious and careful with what you pick and choose. Make sure if you're going to choose a direction, it's extremely overextended the other way. Right? So like I took a trade with Ethereum, for example, yesterday. We hit a nice 42% in like 8 hours, but that percentage that we were able to hit, of course it was 10x leverage, but the reason why we were able to hit that is because it was extremely overextended to the downside, and a recovery was necessary, right? Again, we played it kind of tight, but it definitely worked out. We'll actually take a look at that here in a moment, but one last thing to kind of note is that we still got a resistance at 50 on the RSI as well. Okay, but it is ascending as well, so as long as we continue to make higher lows and higher highs on the RSI, it will inevitably break to the upside. So this does kind of imply we might have more propensity for an upside than a downside. That's kind of what that's telling us there. Again, absolutely not confirmation just yet. We don't have that, so please keep in mind, we're still not out of the woods yet. Let's see here. So we'll take a look at overextension here in a moment, but what I wanted to kind of see is, first of all, TD sequential. We did come down here to a 9. This is roughly where I decided to take a trade yesterday, and at this point here we can see we're at a 9. The price action increases and recovers and continues higher. Now the reason why I did that, of course, is because it came down outside of its standard deviation and continued to be very overextended. So if you take a look at the Bollinger Bands here, for example, it's a little easier to see on smaller time frames, but it still gets the point across. We hit a 9 on TD sequential, and we are outside of the standard deviation here provided by the Bollinger Bands. Okay, volume weighted average price also told a similar story. Okay, those are two things I like to use in combination on shorter time frames to give me good entry points, and that is essentially what led to that decision to take that position, that long position, right? And when you kind of see something like that, that's a case in point where it's kind of a decent time to get in. Now again, it's not always a guarantee, but for the most part, when you see the price come outside these standard deviation lines, it'll typically contract shortly after that. All right, so in that sense, we can, you can maybe potentially use that as a trading trading strategy. It's not the only thing you want to use. You want to take everything we just looked at here so far and understand the big picture, that we're still bearish and a long position can be risky. But on the same accord, when you're overextended to the downside, that's kind of what happens. Last thing I want to take a look at here is the Ichimoku cloud. We can kind of see that we're testing the cloud so far, the lower lead. So if we can kind of maintain and stay above the cloud, we'll break this descending trend and continue to progress higher, and then inevitably, potentially, stay above and continue to break that resistance at 20,400. So that's kind of what we're looking for here, is a clean break above 20,400, where we get a good consolidation. The price action comes up and then kind of hangs out here, and then it's ready for the next takeoff. If we get a good consolidation at 20,400 after breaking that level, I would think that'd be a positive sign. And when I say break, I'm not talking about a candle wick. I'm talking about a good, nice, solid candlestick closure above, maybe even 2 or 3 candles above, and then at that point, consider taking a long. that would be a case in point where I'd like to do that. Now, keep in mind, lagging span is free and clear of price action, but it's really dicey. It's super tight. So again, this kind of tells us that taking a long position right now without confirmation is riskier. Same thing with the conversion line being above the baseline. While we have nice momentous uptrend, again, we're making higher lows, it still doesn't confirm that we're on the right side of the tracks. Okay. So again, mostly good, but not great. Okay. So to me, until we get confirmation above 20,400, there'd be probably no reason to want to take a position. And I would recommend just kind of staying on the sidelines to see, because we could very well see a very strong rejection here, and it comes straight down from there. You never truly know. So let's just go ahead and remain patient, sit on our hands for just a little while longer, and make sure that we understand that this will recover in time. All right. For now, we got to work with what we got and just be careful, cautious, and patient. Okay. All right. Hopefully I can be the voice of reason for you with all that other crap on the internet right now. So just try to focus on the positive, work within your risk tolerance, and if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tag is a site. Once again, link in the description below, and what that does is that provides you with the trading academy, community, and signal group. It's kind of a one-stop shop for everything cryptocurrency. I've had members there for over a full year already, and it's just an awesome experience. So I've got over 200 active members, and it's a lot of fun. So looking forward to learning and growing with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your support. We'll see you the next one. Take care.